Yeah, I live in Canada,
Okay. What part of Canada?
right across the border from Detroit, so in Windsor, Ontario.
Okay. That's not that far. And you,
Now, where are you at? Sorry.
so I'm in Chicago. If I don't know if you've been here, it's like my neighborhood's called Lakeview slash like Wrigleyville, so I'm like kind of close to there. It's like 6 miles north of the city.
Oh, okay. So, did you
Yeah.
grow up in Chicago?
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago.
How'd you
Why
become a Wings
why
fan?
why am I a Wings fan? My family's from Detroit, so like
Okay, that makes sense.
my dad's from around the city, and my mom's from Michigan too. She wasn't a hockey fan growing up, and my dad wasn't either. But I like one of my best friends was like a hockey fan, and like that's how I got into it.
Okay.
And like how the Red Wings were like perennially good since like 1990 like four, and so when
Yeah, I lived
they
through all those hard days too, man.
yeah, how old are you?
35.
35. So yeah, you were like you could enjoy like their prime. I honestly don't remember. I was born the year they won their second Stanley Cup, right? The summer after in '98.
Oh,
And
okay.
and then for like the 2008 one, I didn't even we had like a party at my house. So I didn't really watch the game. And then when they lost in 2009, that was like the start of me being a pretty hardcore fan.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of tears were shed in the loss to New Jersey in '95. I
Yeah.
shed a, I think I was crying like I was like 7 years old, man, just crying in the fucking basement, just kicking my. Sorry, I swore. I don't know if you, kicking my feet and arms around like I didn't want to go to
Uh,
school. I was telling my dad, I'm like, I'm not going to school. I'm not going to school tomorrow.
I was like the same reaction for me. I slept in the same room with my brother, and we had a bunk bed, and I was on the top. I remember after that, I like went up there with like my little shinny stick and my Red Wings jersey, and I just like cried. I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I didn't get to enjoy the year before, and now they had like Marion Hossa. I remember going to um a couple games that year because my dad used to have season tickets at the UC, and they were right behind the Blackhawks penalty box. They're really dope. He doesn't have them anymore. That's a long story, but like my best Red Wings memory was going to a game when they it was the game when Datsuk did like a give and go to Hossa, and he did the Forsberg on a QA. It was on a
Oh
QA
yeah.
and yeah, man, that was like the sickest thing. I'm wearing his jersey right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Datsuk was a beauty, man.
Yeah, he was my favorite player for sure growing up. That was probably my best Red Wings memory.
Yeah.
Um, and I used to play hockey too, so
Yeah, I
like
played growing up too. I haven't played in probably about 3 years, but
yeah. How far did you get in
nowhere.
like youth hockey? Yeah, same.
Yeah, man. I had like a tryout in junior B, and that was about it.
So how does it? How does it?
I
How does
play.
it?
I did actually. I lived in Florida for a bit. I did play like juniors down there, but it's not like it's like travel up here. Like it's like single A, like the lowest level of travel in Canada, and so I was like, yeah, but it was fun. But
Yeah, great times. That was pretty much my entire youth from 5 to 18. I haven't played like 2 years because I just like if I like step on the ice like I want to like act like I'm like 16. You know what I'm saying? So the last time I did it was in open skate in the Blackhawks new training facility, which is really cool. They play at a rink called Fifth Third Arena.
oh yeah,
They used to practice at my old ice rink where the Jets play, but I was just doing an open skate, and I had skated like 2.5 years, and I messed up my groin just doing open skate. And then for like the next two summers, I did physical therapy, and then in August last year, I couldn't walk. I don't know why. And what happened is I like tore the labrum in my left hip. I had like 25%, so I had to get surgery on that.
oh
And so I'm like, that was November 1st. It's like I'm like 8 months. I don't know how many months it is. I'm like 8 months from that, and now I don't follow any other sports. I just enjoy hockey.
yeah. I
Just
used to be a
little
big baseball fan too. Like it was
and
number two always to hockey, but I haven't even watched a game this year. I watched actually a couple innings of like the Blue Jays and the. I'm a Red Sox fan, but I was just kind of bored the other day. I think it was Saturday. I was just like laying around on the couch, flipping the channels, and I saw the Blue Jays game on, and I watched like two innings. I think I fell asleep, but I think I watched maybe 4 games last year of the Red Sox. So like baseball's just dying off, I think.
Wait, so you're from Windsor. You're a Red Wings fan and a Red Sox baseball fan. Is it because they were? Is it because of Big Poppy in like 2000s? What's the deal there?
I got my dad's wife, so my stepmom, they're from Boston, so New England. So
Yeah.
so I just I'm a Patriots fan too. So
Okay. Yeah. This is doing Boston teams or is like Detroit teams. It's usually a good city to root for.
yeah, I just hate the fucking Bruins though. But that's okay because I'm a Red Wing fan and I would never give that up.
I don't hate any other team. I don't like some of the media personalities in the team, like the Jack Adams. Just
Oh my god.
you can't listen to Nesson. Like so my dad used to say when he'd watch Red Wings games, he'd always try and watch the opposing team's broadcast just so he'd like hear what they had to say about our players. But I like listening to Ken and Mickey. But that guy is just I just can't do
Yeah.
it. Not
Yeah, Ken and Mickey, there's nobody
objective
better to
person.
listen.
Oh my
What's that?
god, the best.
Yeah. Yeah. I lived like I said, I lived in Florida for about 6 years. And my dad and I had season tickets to the Lightning. So I mean, but if the Wings were in town, I was going for the Wings. But I got about 20 Lightning jerseys hanging here and down here, and I like not really like hanging on display, but I mean, just from over the years, all these jerseys I have. Actually, a buddy of mine that I grew up with, two guys I grew up with, made the NHL. One of my good buddies all through high school was Steve Downey.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, he played. He was drafted by Philly. Played for Philly, Tampa, Pittsburgh, Colorado, Arizona, I think. But yeah, he doesn't play anymore. But so he was playing down. He was playing for the Lightning when I was there, so that was cool to hang out with them. Got to hang out with like some of the guys sometimes. Like Stamkos, Hedman sometimes. Like so that shit was cool.
You guys would hang out with him? Damn.
Yeah,
So,
I actually have. I got a pair of Hedman's game used pants, his helmet, a pair of Mike Lundin's gloves, and Vincent Lecavalier's game used skates.
So, dude, equipment is. I'm not a big autograph or like memorabilia person. That's like way cooler than a signed jersey or like a signed picture. When I was like 12 years old, I went to this camp called Father Hockey and Sons in Shattuck St. Mary's. They've since moved to Olaf, I think Olaf College, and Patrick Eves went there. So like, as you know, like a bunch of other NHLers did, and he trained there in the summer. And they, I don't know if you've heard of that camp. Like the rink is run by this guy named Rooster. I don't know if he's still there. He's curly haired guy. He's so funny.
So how far did you get in hockey?
Not far. I stopped playing when I was 18. But what I was gonna say is, he let me put on Patrick Eves' Red Wings helmet, and I'm like kind of small, so it was like the visor went down to like right here.
Yeah.
I never got to the point where I could wear that. I stopped. I played high school hockey, freshman to senior year, at Loyola in like Chicago. I've never left Chicago, and I went to Indiana for like a year, and they don't have a women's hockey team, so they can't do like D1, but they have club hockey teams. I tried out and I didn't make it. So that was the last time I played.
That's it. I call it. Fuck it.
Yeah, no, I don't. I like to like stay like lean, exercise, but I don't need to play sports anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd like to I was supposed to go out maybe a couple months ago and play a game in a men's league, just to sub in for somebody, but then they didn't. My buddy asked me to, and then they just called me like 2 hours before the game, and he's like, "Oh yeah, buddy's gonna make it," and I'm like, "Oh man," I was like all jacking myself up. I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. So you stopped playing hockey in juniors in Florida?
Yeah, and then I still played like a senior men's league. It was a very, very competitive league. It was actually probably one of the more competitive hockey leagues I've played in.
That's how they are, dude. That's what I'm saying. It's just the body can't keep up with that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I was 24 when I moved from Florida, so yeah, that's about when I quit playing. I was about 24. But like in the senior league, it was like teams from all over, kind of like the 3-4 counties around Tampa, and a lot of it was all like guys from Canada, guys from Michigan, guys from New York, so they knew how to play hockey. It was all guys like 25 and 20 and up, whatever, and a lot of them had already moved, like 35, 40-year-old guys had moved down for jobs or whatever. So it was good hockey. I do miss playing in that league, which the league isn't even around anymore, I guess, just because the rink, a couple of the rinks just screwed up so badly that the league just kind of fell apart. So
What's your position?
Forward, usually right wing.
Right on, power forward. You look kind of big.
Yeah, I like to think I like Michael Rasmussen a lot, but I think I just that's kind of how I played. Big, throw the body around. Unfortunately, he scores more goals than I ever did, and he needs to be scoring a lot more.
Yeah, he scored a lot of goals in the NHL. What was the team he was the captain on? Like the Tri-City Americans. That was like the last time he scored big goals. He's looking good now, but
yeah, I mean, like he's still only, like he's not that old.
Yeah, he's 23,
like people want to just
right?
dump him, but he's actually like, he's a really solid third line center, I think. Like I don't expect him to be our 2C. I know that was probably the expectation when he was drafted 9th overall, but things change.
Yeah, I don't trust anybody Ken Holland drafted. I mean, you got Larks, Bertuzzi. I don't know if he drafted Tatar.
And everybody wants to throw Zadina away too. And it's like, Veleno was drafted the same year. Like he's not even full time in the NHL yet. Like just give Zadina a chance, man.
Okay, so if you think Rask could be a third line center, what do you think you think Veleno could be a third line center too? Or who would be third and who would be fourth if they end up playing on the roster for like, let's say 4 more years?
I would think that Rask would move to the wing and let Veleno play center. So Veleno would play center.
Once the roster gets more condensed, they have more options for putting people down the middle. I mean, I don't know who they're gonna be putting down the middle in the next couple of years, like the draft this year.
I mean, hopefully Veleno can grow into a 2C. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Like he's still not even, people want to give up on him almost too, and it's like, dude, he hasn't even had a full season in the NHL yet.
He kind of reminds me of, he's like hopefully gets a little bit better, of like Derek Brassard. I don't know what the hell happened to that guy.
Yeah. Man, Ottawa traded Zibanejad to the Rangers for Brassard.
Yeah.
Oh, like
I remember
Ottawa,
when Zibanejad was a rookie on that team. That was the year they went to the conference finals, right? Before he got
possibly
traded.
But then they put themselves like 8 to 9 years behind in the rebuild.
Yeah, it's so weird. There's 32 teams now, and only like one can be, and only like 5 can do really well. It's just, there's like a monopoly on the good teams,
Yeah, but it's not as bad as like basketball where they just form super teams.
I mean, well, now that there's a salary cap, they did in 2000. The Red Wings did in 2002. That doesn't happen anymore, though.
Yeah, but I mean, that was also like guys are persuaded now in the salary cap world by dollars and dollars alone. Where like, Detroit definitely bought that 0-2 team. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, as in they went out and they hunted for everybody. It was the whole thing was a trade. The trade that started everything was Dominic Hasek. When he demanded a trade out of Buffalo, his agent went to college or played college hockey with Holland. So called Holland and said, Hasek told Buffalo he's only going to Detroit. So don't give up anything for him. You know what I mean? Don't try to push things over the edge, because at the end, so then they ended up just trading Slava Kozlov for him. And then once that broke, Luke Robitaille's agent called Holland and said, hey, Luke wants to come to Detroit because you got Hasek. It looks like a Stanley Cup team. And then Brett Hall called too and was like, hey, I'm coming aboard too. So, it's not like they went out and hunted. They made one trade and then everybody else was like, shit, look at that roster. Let's go add to it.
Yeah, I guess when like certain players get to certain teams, it's like they become more attractive. Now, now that Stevie's in Detroit, people are like, oh, okay, this could be a good landing spot. That brings up like a couple questions. How do you feel about players like not liking their team and demanding a trade? Like how Eichel, I mean, like those for a different reason because of the surgery, how Eichel did that, and how
I think one of the best to look back on that would be like Danny Heatley demanding out of Ottawa. And I'm completely okay with players doing that.
Yeah, I guess if it's not a right fit, it's your professional career. Do what you want.
Right, and people always get pissed. Oh, fuck you! You don't want to be here. Sorry, I swore again. But like, yeah, you don't want to be here. And then it's like, well, you know what? But nobody bats an eye when a team asks a guy to waive his no trade clause that you gave him because you promised him he wasn't. But so it's okay for a team to ask them to waive a clause, but it's not okay for the player to ask the team to move him. No, I think that's BS. I agree. A player should be asking. I mean, I think things have to go. You can't just, I'm playing on the third line. Get me the hell out of here. When really you're probably only a second or third line player. But yeah, in situations like Heatley and Eichel, obviously that was a huge thing. Hopefully he gets back because he is a hell of a hockey player, but he just, and now Vegas is just crunched because of him.
Yeah. What did the guy Hayes? What was his first name?
Zach.
What did he say about about their team? Did he like bring up any like why they didn't make the playoffs, right?
No, they didn't. No, he didn't really say anything about that. I don't think he was up for a little bit of the season. I think he only played like 3 or 5 games. Good guy though, but he plays in the AHL. No, he just said he said it was cool, like a lot, maybe not cool, different or whatever, like from when he went to training camp, and and then when he came into the locker room to play, halfway through the year or whatever, and they had Eichel, and he's like, he said it was just like Eichel was just so awesome, like came over to him and was talking to him like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. If you want help with anything, or whatever. And people want to hate on Eichel, but seems like he's pretty good to rookies.
Haters gonna hate. I never understand that.
Exactly. And you don't know what a guy's like in the locker room. I got a buddy that always said, "Oh, Sidney Crosby's the worst captain in the league." And he's been saying it since Sidney Crosby's been the captain. And I'm like, dude, you've never been in the Pittsburgh dressing room. You have no idea what Sidney Crosby's about. What, because he might whine a little bit on the ice, you think he's a bad captain? You have no idea. It's not all just about the game on the ice, which Crosby knows how to play.
Yeah, he's also dedicated. I was listening to Kevin Weeks on Spittin' Chicklets. I think this was last year, and that guy is so good at impressions. But he did one with Jim Rutherford. I don't know if he's still the Penguins GM, but at the time he was. And this was when they were trying.
No, Hextall is now.
Yeah, this is when they were trying to repeat. He's like, I had a conversation with all the guys, and I know Sidney Crosby's on board, but if they weren't willing to put the hours in for the repeat, they're out of there. Guys, yeah, not everyone's dedicated like that to like constantly win. That's like the end. I don't know if he had that obsessive personality like Michael Jordan. It can probably get to be a lot, but
I think Sidney Crosby is a bit like that. I met him when he was playing junior still. We're the same age. They were playing the Memorial Cup in London, and a buddy of mine was playing for the Knights. So we went up for a couple games, couple buddies. And one of the games when London and Rimouski weren't playing, we were just like kind of sitting in the stands with Crosby, and like he seemed like a cool guy, but he was like didn't want to really talk when the play was going on. He was just uber focused on everything going on. And like if you watched his eyes, they were just bouncing around everywhere. Like he wasn't just watching the puck, he was watching everything. It was wild to see, but yeah, and the way he talked, you could just tell he was super dedicated to going all the way and being the best. And I mean, you got to have that dedication, right? He gave up his March breaks or spring breaks, his summer vacations, probably going out with girls and, doing that stuff, because even like girls were throwing themselves on him in London. And he was like, I'm trying to watch the game, please. And I'm like, oh my God, I'd like to get a tenth of one of these girls.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what it takes to be like him. He'll probably get involved like in one of the teams after he retires, you think, right? With that kind of love for the game. Maybe he'll be the next like Joe Sakic or Steve.
Yeah, probably just stay with Pittsburgh and stay with Mario because of his tightness with Mario and all that. And
yeah, so you're pretty like invested in hockey. Did you in like your 20s, did you try and make it like a career to be involved in the media and like some teams, and what you're doing right now with the what is it, Red Sweater, Purple Octopus podcast?
Purple Octopus Red Sweater,
which is this is a really cool, a really cool name. I don't know what happened to the octopus. I don't think they do that at Little Caesars anymore. But
we interviewed a guy that threw one on the ice during the home opener this year.
So it's a lifetime ban, right? Is that what it is?
No, he didn't even get kicked out of the arena.
Oh, I love it. That's so good.
Yeah, they let it happen. I mean, he saran wrapped it. There's a video of it. he had like on it against it, like he put on his bare stomach, put a bunch of saran wrap, then squished the squid around him, and then just saran wrapped over it, and had like a sweater and a jersey on. And then he's got a video where he pulls his jersey up and he's undoing the saran wrap during the national anthem. And then after the anthem, he tosses it on the ice. And like he said, the ushers, nobody even came over to him. Everybody just cheered him on. Nobody even said anything to him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Al Cervic is like peeing in the Zamboni drain.
Yeah, seriously.
Hockey fans are the best. I don't. It's just like a different type of fan base, you know, different language. But okay, so you're going back to that. You do the podcast now. Like before that, like what led up to that? I don't know what you were doing before then. You're in between jobs.
Like just pretty much working, you know, my career, whatever. But yeah, just Evan and I came in contact with each other somehow, and about a podcast, and we just kind of talked once, I think, like called each other on the phone, talked for like an hour, and we started going. And now we're through a season. We had 31 episodes, I think, maybe 30 so far.
That's
What's
awesome. That? I said that's the power of the internet. You can connect with anyone.
Yeah, that's it, man. And like luckily I you know, I've like I knew some people in hockey, obviously growing up in Canada, like, you know, like I said, a couple of my buddies went in that. So we've been able to get some talks with people. And you know, like one of my buddies, one of my best friends that I grew up with, played for the Colorado Avalanche. We had him on, but there were some underlying circumstances during the interview, so we got to have him on again. But then he just had a kid, so, you know, got to wait for him. But I think we'll probably be the first Red Wing podcast maybe to have a Colorado Avalanche on. But
yeah, I don't have that grudge like my dad and my some of his friends do. That's funny to hear about. But
yeah, I mean, I did, but like it's over. Like it was 20 years, like, you know, and like by the time my buddy was playing, I'm like, I can't sit here and like watch him on TV or be in the stands and you know, not want him to do good. Like, yeah, I mean, I got one of his jerseys hanging down here too. Like people are like, you're a Red Wing fan, you have an Avalanche jersey? Like, yeah,
just a fan of the sport, man.
Yeah, also like it's my buddy, it's an autographed jersey. Yeah, I got it.
That's awesome. You have all those connections. Yeah,
it's not too bad
being from Canada. Okay, so there's like, how many Red Wings podcasts are there? There's the Locked On one. I liked it when Nolan was on there. The Winged Wheel one.
The Winged Wheel I've listened to a couple times. That's about the only one I've listened to. I know there's like the Grind Line pod.
Yeah. There used to be Wings for Breakfast with Max Boltman and Prashant Iyer. That was like, Prashant is really smart.
I did listen to that one a bit. That one was good. And then I don't know what happened. One of the guys left or something and just kind of stopped it, or.
Yeah, I think he had a kid. I follow him on Twitter a lot. He's he's a good follow for sure. That was like the last time I listened to a podcast, because they're all like, it's kind of like the same opinions, and it's not like I don't have that good of an educational background yet. I'm still in college, so I can't be like, oh, this is why the data looks this way or it looks that way. It's all just like assertions and like personal experiences like you have from playing the game, talking to friends, you know. But like, what's your goal with Evan in the podcast? You're just trying to like interview people, like
just give our opinions. You know, we have a lot of viewers rather. I don't know how that, maybe the other Red Wing podcasts are doing well. What was that about?
You got a lot of viewers, snaps.
Oh, no, I didn't mean like we have a lot of viewers. I meant a good percentage of our listeners are in Sweden and Finland, even like England, Russia, Ireland. I don't know how the other Red Wing podcasts are doing. I assume probably good with Sweden because of the Swedish exodus coming to Detroit. But that's cool. So I mean, to give an opinion, you know, try to get some guys on talk. Like it was awesome having New Power on, you know, talking about you know, like I'm not gonna give too much, like he talked about like he was at the airport with his girlfriend going to Florida, and he thought he'd just get an AHL contract again. It was like right at the end of last season. and he thought he was just going to get another AHL contract on the same team he had. And then he got a phone call from his agent when he was about to board the plane. And he's like, hey, Steve Yzerman offered you a contract. And he was like, wait, I got to get on a plane. But yeah.
Where was he coming from? Was Denver? Was he was a college? Or no, UConn, right?
Yeah, he went to UConn.
Yeah, I watched him play in Grand Rapids not in Grand Rapids, at the Allstate Arena against the Chicago Wolves, who were absolutely stacked. They got, like, I think Berggren had 2 assists, but they got destroyed. Oh shit, I lost my train of thought. What were you just talking about?
New Power.
I had a really good question. So whatever. We'll get back to that. What are you drinking? Water?
Yeah.
I've been doing this Liquid Death. I thought it was coffee, just water.
Oh, I kind of thought it was coffee too.
Oh, okay. Now I remember what I was gonna say. Yeah, I thought it was like the one that they advertised on Barstool.
I know RA drinks it a lot. I thought that's what it was called, Liquid Death.
Death something. I just drink water and coffee. I just finished my iced coffee. I remember.
I hate coffee. I'm not a coffee guy.
How do you are you just? Oh shit. Okay, this is gonna end in 10 minutes. Okay,
yeah.
we got 10 minutes left. So do you use Anchor for releasing the podcast?
Yeah.
And you can see analytics on there?
Yep.
Yeah, YouTube is the same way. Anytime the analytics on YouTube are insane. I made a podcast a while ago on Anchor. So I remember what that looked like. And YouTube, you can see, which is kind of creepy, you can see the time people spend on the video. You can see the country they come from.
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel too. And then we just kind of got, busy with life and just never ended up posting. I think we have one podcast up on YouTube. We were going to do every one and, release them as podcasts and then put them on YouTube also. And we did one, and I don't know, like, we just get busy and shit happens. And, that was like more time consuming, I guess, was trying to put them on YouTube. So.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of time. I started doing this like 8 weeks ago, and the first video I ever made wasn't related to hockey. It was, oh my God. I'm kind of a big South Park fan, right? And
oh yeah, okay.
Like when I had the surgery,
could have been something a lot weirder than South Park, let me tell you.
No, it's I'm not.
You could have been like some freak that likes Blue's Clues still or something.
No, wait, let me continue. So oh my God, that's funny. I was just talking about Dora because I was going hiking yesterday. Whatever, that came to mind. Okay, so I listened to Mr. Beast on Joe Rogan, and he talked about how much money you can make on YouTube, and then like something clicked in my head. I was like, oh my God, I have this surgery. I'm only taking one class right now. Let's see what we can do here. So I've been watching a lot of South Park, and I noticed they say the F word a lot. So I spent my entire spring break clipping together every single time the F word got swore. Every single time.
Through their whole like 30
25
years?
seasons. Couple specials. Guess how many were said? Take a guess. There's an average 10 episodes a season. Right now it's at 6.
Yeah, I don't even know, because I would guess something really low or stupidly high, but I'm assuming it's ridiculous.
1,532.
Oh, see, I was gonna say like 20,000.
Yeah, no, that's like the episodes are. Yeah, so I did that, and then I didn't like whatever. That was a lot of fun, and then I was like, what, should I do anything else? And I just started doing this, like the only thing I know that's not like school related, and it's been a lot of fun, and I've noticed that like 25% of the audience, because I post some more Cider stuff, is from Germany. Like some of it's from
Sweden. Well, yeah, they Google Moritz Cider and or YouTube Moritz Cider for highlights, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's like Moritz Cider cocaine for people in Germany, which is pretty cool. I thought about like doing like a dubbed version in German. So I like posted in the description. I was like, if anybody can help me translate this, that'd be really cool. And someone was like, dude, anyone in Germany listens to all their YouTube videos in English. That's totally unnecessary. I was like, oh damn, it sucks.
Yeah, when we were talking to New Power, actually, I asked him what it was like because he was at training camp with Cider, and I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, you're both you both shoot right. And Wyatt's like, yeah, man, like I want to play with them. Like I'll even learn how to shoot left.
Yeah, he'd probably be really easy to play with.
Yeah.
Fast, strong. He can play like any part of the game. It's so nice having players on the wings to like just enjoy watching. Like I'm so excited for Elmer. I don't know what's gonna happen with him next year. Probably playing GR, right? But just like the young
I assume
guys.
he starts in Grand Rapids. Yeah.
Yeah, that what I've read is that he has like a learning curve every time he goes into a new league, and then like the last year he freaking killed it in the SHL. That was really dope. But
Yeah, man. And he just scored nasty goals too.
oh
And
my
he's so
god,
big.
with that dude, he's like a nimble center in the NBA. Like if he was from the US, he'd probably be playing basketball.
Yeah. Or
He's
Latvia.
yeah, that's just true too. 6'8". I don't think do you think he's fast? My dad always shits on his skating speed. Or not fast. Do you think he can match the pace in an NHL game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think he gets a contract if they don't think he can. And they know a hell of a lot more than I do. So I'm going to say, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they signed Elmer, they signed Albert Johansson. I was just looking at their cap friendly page. Bergeron, he signed the contract like the year before last.
Yeah, he was in Grand Rapids last year.
Yeah, apparently a pretty good season. I don't know. How well
yeah,
he rookie record.
Beat Nyquist rookie record.
That's so funny. Another Swedish player.
Yeah. Hopefully he ends up like a lot better than Nyquist. I love Nyquist, but like, wow, he went downhill in a hurry after leaving Detroit.
Yeah, his first year, right? He had that like 26 goal campaign in like half a season.
Yeah, right after the Olympic break, it was like, Phew.
I remember one game he scored an overtime goal against Ottawa. He skated around this zone like three times.
Yeah.
Took a shot
Nyquist. And Ken Daniels is just like, Nyquist.
Yeah.
And Nyquist still has it. Oh, Nyquist.
Yeah, his best take all time. A Datsuki and Beak.
Yeah.
He's not the best for quotables. Mickey definitely is. He's like, because he's like grandfather did. Mickey can kind of say whatever he wants.
Oh yeah, Mick's a beaut.
He's such a beauty. Okay, we got like 3 minutes
4 minutes
left. Yeah, so I'm gonna come on. We're gonna talk about the draft right later in the week.
Yeah, I don't know if we're doing it Wednesday or Thursday, but yeah, we'll figure it out and get back to you. And probably Wednesday, I'm assuming, because the draft is actually on Thursday. So
yeah, right on. Yeah, I look forward to that. See, maybe like the top 10 players. That's all I know on the McKenzie ranking.
Yeah, well, at least you're listening to the right rankings, buddy. Bob McKenzie's the way to fucking go.
I don't know if there's a right rank.
Who do you? I mean, maybe I should say this for the podcast, but who do you want Detroit to take at 8?
I want them to take. I like David Juracek. I think he's pretty good. Like a sniper would be nice. Like maybe Kemmel or Lekka Rimaki. Like honestly, I don't really care if they draft a center or a right-handed defenseman, but I want them to get Juracek. Or Nemec would be dope. someone who can skate well, because they have Sider on the right side, Hronik,
Lindstrom, and then
yeah.
Osterley can play both sides.
Oh,
yeah,
he's gonna be gone after next year. We'll see.
Yeah,
see you later, Jordan.
Yeah, and then I mean Steven Kampfer, but no, sorry, I want Brad Lambert. That's it. That's the only one I want.
I think he's got the ceiling, the Canadian Finnish boy.
I think in 10 or 15 years, when you look back to redraft, in hindsight, Brad Lambert should have easily gone number 1. I think that's how good he's going to be in the National Hockey League.
That's what people thought. Like when who did the Islanders draft? That Finnish dude, Olli or Atu Räty. He was ranked like in the top 3, like when he was like 15 years old, and then
he fell. And then I'm pretty sure he was really good. Like has had really good season since that. Like had a really good previous season, just this last season. I'm pretty sure he did. Give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna look it up quick.
Yeah, that would be a good one. He's like 6 foot. He's like 175.
Yeah, he's got a lot of room to grow. I mean, and he stayed in Finland. A lot of people think he had a shitty offensive year in Finland, but he was thinking of coming over to Canada and playing in the Western Hockey League. And he decided to stay in Finland to work on the defensive parts of his game. So if he was practicing defense all season, that might be why he only scored 4 goals.
Yeah.
But sorry, Ratu had
his name, Ratu.
He put up like 60 points in 40 games in Finland. So, and then he had no points in 2 games in the AHL this year. But
I don't know how reliable the points are. That Russian dude, what's his name? On the Red Wings, he had like 120 points in some youth Russian league. Who do we have?
Well, yeah, you're talking about Tatayev.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. No, but that's like, but he was playing really bad leagues. Like in the Finnish and Swedish leagues, there's not really a lot of scoring. So if guys put up massive, like even the Russian league, man, like before it was the KHL, Ovechkin scored 16 goals his draft year in what it was the Russian Super League, and he beat Pavel Bure's previous league record of like 12. Yeah. And it's like, man, Ovechkin should have been scoring way more than 16 goals in the KHL.
We're probably about to get cut off, so let's call it here. It was really nice talking to you for the first time, Wes. You're an interesting guy.
All right, yeah, nice talking to you too, man. We'll talk to you in a couple days.
Happy 4th of July. We'll adopt you as a